I'm quite distraught at the moment. Very distraught at the moment. And I'll tell you why. There are two things in this world that I completely despise, okay? The first being people who decide to install a pole handle on a door you push on, and the second, roaches. Now, my first encounter with roaches came at a very early age. I was probably about 3 years old, um, and it's probably one of the earliest memories I have. Uh, Probably just because it's so traumatic that I've never been able to rid it from my mind. It started out, I was in the bathroom one night brushing my teeth, standing on a stepping stool. I was a little dude, and I had my shirt off. Now, I remember my older sister walking by at the time and looking in the bathroom while I was brushing my teeth, and she yells, "There's a roach on your back." I very vividly remember turning to the side like this and looking in the mirror, seeing my reflection, a big roach crawling up my bare back. Now, I had an appropriate reaction, which was to scream and run and flail my arms while at the same time trying to rid this creature that had taken residence on my bare skin. So since then, I have not had the best dealings with roaches. Now, ever since this tragic event took place, anytime I have encountered a roach, I automatically get the feeling that it's crawling on me. Then the paranoia sets in. And I feel like, even though I killed one, I feel like they're all over the place. They're in the walls, they're watching me. I even have dreams at night that they're crawling on me, and I wake up flailing my arms again, trying to get these dream roaches off my body. Now, about a year ago, I was renting a house with some friends, and we had a roach problem there. These were some pretty big roaches. I mean, we're talking of 3-inch roaches. Not okay. Now, I remember one night in particular, I hear, I'm laying in my bed, okay? Lights off, eyes closed, head down on the pillow, because that's how people sleep. And I hear something. It's like faint. And I just kind of have this like weird feeling. And I pick up my phone and shine the light, and right over my headboard is a big old roach. Just right up there. And of course I freak out. I get the thing, I kill it, I get rid of it. Um, and I go back to bed. Now, I had just laid down, and I look across the room and I think I see a shadow, and like there's something up on the wall. I shine my light. There's another one. Just within just like few seconds, another one appeared. Now, I had turned on my light when this thing was over by the light switch. I turned on the light to kill the other roach, and that roach is just nowhere in sight. Now, as soon as I killed the other one, and it was dead, I made sure of it. Another one appeared, just out of nowhere. They just appear. I'm pretty sure there's like a roach mothership, and they're beaming them down through particles into our homes. So, I've had some bad encounters. Tonight was by far the worst encounter / battle I've had with a roach ever. And this is the biggest roach that I have ever encountered in my life. And I've encountered a lot. So, I just gotten home. This happened like within the last hour. I'd come home from my friend's rehearsal dinner for his wedding. He's getting married tomorrow. And I had to catch up on some work because I didn't go into work today because I was doing that. And so I had to catch up on some stuff. And so I'm sitting on my bed, catching up some work, typing, doing my thing, minding my business. And just out of nowhere, this thing is probably like 3 inches long or so. I mean, that's not okay. Don't get me wrong. That's bad enough in and of itself. However, this thing was like bulky. This thing was jacked. I mean, he had like muscles and stuff. And this thing's like self-aware. I mean, most roaches, they're like, robots. They, certain things you do to them, they'll react a certain way. This thing had a mind of its own. And I say that because this thing came out of nowhere, comes up the side of my bed, and darts right toward me. Okay, I'm sitting like a foot from the bed, and this thing just comes up and makes a beeline for me. Okay, I flail my arms, because that's, my default reaction is to flail, and I jump off my bed. Okay, I probably have whiplash from how fast I jumped and slinging my neck. I mean, it's a miracle I didn't break my neck and kill myself, which might have been better than dealing with what I had to deal with tonight. It was that bad. So I jump off the bed. Well, immediately, because I jump over this thing basically and jump across the room, this thing turns around and heads straight forward, like just off the bed onto the floor, and it comes at me. Like it was going for me. Like, you could see this thing's eyes, and they were watching me, his little antennas pointing and going right toward me. It was the freakiest thing ever, okay? Like, I'm still shaking from this. I kid you not. I will probably have to go to counseling after this. This was not okay. This thing was not of this earth. So I grabbed this empty Starbucks cup I have sitting on my desk. Because, that's the normal thing to do, is keep an empty Starbucks cup on your desk for these dire situations, such as the one that I just encountered. I throw it over the thing, okay? Now this thing's boxing. I mean, he's trying to get out. I mean, I can feel him. I mean, I'm holding this cup down, and I can feel where he's like pushing on the sides. The creepiest thing. Of course, I want to let go because I don't like roaches. I don't like to touch roaches. But, if I let go, this thing's going to get out and matters are going to be worse. So then I grab this piece of paper, more like a stack of papers. One paper would not have sufficed. So I take this old stack of homework paper. I slide it under that thing, okay? So I'm holding this paper up against this cup. And I'm fighting this thing, okay? It's like, dragging me all over the place. Okay, that didn't happen. But it was strong. It was still trying to get out. And, my first thought was like, what do? I can't just crush it in this thing. It's going to get out. The cup's not designed to squish flat. It's going to end up belling out at the bottom, and the thing's going to escape and probably kill me. So I go into the bathroom, kick open the toilet seat, and I threw, just kind of open and chunked like that, and this roach, bam, into the toilet. Flush the thing. Sigh of relief. Or so I thought. This thing starts to go around in the whirlpool, okay? And I mean, my toilet is, it's one of those old toilets. It's not one of these, save water toilets. This is a serious toilet, okay? It's a big whirlpool, and gallons of water go down at once, okay? And this thing is in this whirlpool. Now there's no coming out of that. Right? No, this thing, in the water, reaches down, bam, plants its feet onto the bowl. I mean, after a couple spins, he takes a grip. Water is passing over him as he's gripped onto this toilet bowl. And this whirlpool's going around. Water goes down, 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 down past him. And then he starts climbing up, okay? I frantically start hitting the flush switch. Now, obviously, the tank in the back has to fill up with another 5 gallons of water to flush this, intense toilet. And so it's not ready. It's not going to flush. It won't go. So the thing's like trying to get up. Okay, at this point, I discover this thing has wings. And now it decides to pull out the big guns and whip these wings out. And this thing's like about to he's like flapping them, dry them off. And he's about to take flight. This thing's about to launch out at me. So frantically, I'm still trying to flush the switch, and it's not going down. I look over and just grab the first thing toward me. Okay, there's this bathroom cleaner. It's like Clorox bleach something or other, whatever. And so I just go to town this thing. I mean, I'm unloading this thing on this creature. And so I'm just drenching him in this bleach mix. I mean, this stuff is strong. I mean, I'm inhaling it and I'm spraying it, and I mean, it's making me feel sick. This thing is not phased a bit by it. Okay, he's kind of just like brushing it off, and basically what I'm doing is I'm just keeping his wings wet so that he can't flap them to get out. So he starts like climbing to the edge of the bowl, and so I keep like flushing, doing these mini flushes where the tank's filled up a little bit and just lets out the little bit of water. So it's just enough to kind of like keep the edge as slippery of the toilet. But in doing so, it's not filling up the tank. So finally he like slips down, he's in the water. I'm like spraying him, keeping him from the edges. I flush. Again, this thing clings to the edges and holds on. And I just repeat the same process over again. Now, it was not till the third flush that this thing finally went down. And it went down. The water came back up. No roach. Flushed it again for good measure. This was very intense for me. And although this roach may cease to exist in this life, it still exists in here. And there's really no coming back from what I just went through tonight. I'm going to be losing sleep over this. This is going to haunt me. Happy New Year.